Hey everybody, Corky here. It's a nice afternoon here in Hamilton, Alabama, sitting on the porch. It's not as hot right now, kind of cloudy. So I want to do a Music in the Brain number 3, and it'll be brief, but I want to tell a little story. Actually, it's a big story about a time when I was a pastor in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was a district pastor over several churches in the area, and one of my pastors on my district, uh, his wife had brain tumor, and was having to go for surgeries. She happened to be the worship leader at their church, and she led in the singing and the worship songs, and she underwent pretty severe brain surgery and had actually what I would call a large portion of her brain removed. And I was there, to support the family and all that. And they were precious family. After she went through recovery after her surgery, the result of it was very amazing. And what happened was, after her surgery, she could never remember the names of her family. That was really sad. She couldn't remember her husband's name or her daughter's name or anything like that. But strangely enough, she could still lead in worship singing at the church. And she could remember all the lyrics, to the worship songs and things like that. I'm sure that you've heard of instances where the elderly in nursing homes, some of them might not recognize family members, but yet at different times they could sing gospel songs. And that, often is attributed to, some spiritual miracle type thing. And I don't doubt any of that. And surely God is involved in all these things I talk about. He's the great miracle worker, and He's the great creator of miraculous things, including music and the way it affects the human brain. But at any rate, what we kind of gather from that, and I'm not a scientist per se, even though I have the equivalent of the MA in counseling in my Master of Divinity. So I have done some studies on the brain and human behaviors, and spent 8 years working full-time in a clinical setting with people with brain injury and intellectual disabilities. But what we kind of think on that is that evidently the part of the brain that was removed from this woman was not the part of the brain that processes music. It was the part of the brain that processed, memory of names and things like that. Someone has suggested that when we are speaking words, and then we move to singing words, that it's possible that we actually change sides of our brain. And I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But certainly the experience center of music is different than the experience center of language and propositional things, I believe. So this is another benefit of psychological services that utilize music music therapy, music related services. So I wanted to share that, and so this is Music on the Brain Part 3. I hope you all are doing well, and I'm doing well right here. Thank you. God bless you all.